Government has allocated $4 billion for a population census. To date, that census has not been completed. We are talking about the numbers. And all I see on social media, them say we bad mind, we are idiot.
Yep.
Nobody has been able to come. They cannot challenge our argument, Ralston.
Precisely.
Bless up, ABR family and the viewers. Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl, and Isabel Rose. I just want to say a happy Easter holiday to each and every one. Thank you all for the continued support. But in this video, I have some snippets of interview between Ralston Hyman, the economic guru, I call him that, and Colin Bell. And Ralston dropped some shocking truth as it pertains to the health of our economy and business confidence being down. The business people are locking away their money in Jamaica's bank to acquire that interest, and they have no confidence in this government to do any form of business, so to speak, with them. He spoke on the current finance minister of our country, Fayval Williams, and saying that she is the worst. We have heard talks that Andrew Holness is the worst prime minister, and so in turn it seems that whosoever works under his portfolio in turn are the worst. They are yet to complete and have our census, from 2022. We cannot have a complete census, and Ralston has basically dropped some bombshell on that. And I would love for you to go over to Colin Bell, Portland Spice TV, and watch that entire live. Listen to the guru speak himself, and he's dropping facts with the numbers. And he stated that none of them, out of whatever he have said from last year coming right until now, none of them are able to challenge his numbers. I would love for y'all to hear the entire footage. So run go over Colin Bell, subscribe to his channel, like up the videos, and share them out.
Want to look at the health of Jamaica's economy, because we hear that we are lying and we are spreading misinformation and all of that. What is the health of Jamaica's economy, Ralston, when you do the ultrasound, you do the CT scan, you do the MRI scan? What is the health of this economy?
The Jamaican economy is in a recession, right? The poverty rate is increasing. We saw an acceleration in inflation in March of this year compared with March of last year and February. We also see now for the first time in a long time the value of the consumer and food import bill for the first 11 months of last year was way ahead of what we got from our total exports of goods and services. Mm-hmm. We see the remittance flows are shrinking because of what is happening in the U.S. And we see that the tourism earnings are also flattening because of what is happening in the U.S. And the people are more desperate than ever. We saw the dollar, since Donald Trump announced his tariff, and since we haven't gotten any poor response from the government, apart from the foolishness that you had all been saying a while ago, the dollar has been depreciating every single day since that, despite every central bank intervention. Last week, it was $90 million US, 27 billion Jamaican dollars mopped up. Yesterday, Friday, we saw another 8 billion being mopped up, and we see 3 instruments coming out next week to continue the same process, because the dollar is under significant pressure because of the poor response of the government in relation to what is happening internationally.
Last year, 2024, and this is the figure from the Bank of Jamaica. The Jamaican bank or the Jamaican government spent 1.1 billion US dollars. That's 161 billion Jamaican dollars to defend our dollar against the US dollar. 2023, we spent about 900 million defending the Jamaican dollar against the US. Tell the Prime Minister to come and say that's a lie.
We also have the worst finance minister that has ever gone down to the Ministry of Finance in the history of Jamaica.
So you are classifying Fayval Williams as the worst finance minister
ever in the history of Jamaica.
And you just gave us all the symptoms to say that the Jamaican economy is in a recession a while ago. What are the symptoms or what are the checks that you have used to now recognize Fayval Williams as the worst finance minister?
Well, since she has gone down to the ministry, she has not made any statement that is confidence-inspiring. First, she told us about the nonsense about throw boxes. Then, despite the crisis that is taken internationally, she said the major objective of macroeconomic policy is to bring the debt to GDP ratio down to 60% so that we can borrow at more affordable rates in an environment where international interest rates are going up because of what is happening with the dollar. The dollar is inflating the global economy, and she's still saying that we are going to continue on the same track that Clarke left. So that we can get more money to borrow, rather than saying that we're going to shift emphasis now and focus on production and export so that we do not have to borrow so much in a world that it is going to become more difficult to borrow. There was also a town hall meeting constituency that we should have attended that UTEC and she failed to attend. There's also the argument about she wanted company to negotiate with to conduct the debate with Julian Robinson. And there's also the experience on her side where the speaker have to be handling her like a child in parliament every time she makes a presentation. That is pathetic.
We are talking about the numbers. And all I see on social media, them say we bad mind, we are idiot. Nobody has been able to come with some figures and said, here is our side. They cannot challenge our argument, Ralston.
Precisely. I'm going to give you an anecdote. You know, somebody called me and said, they was talking to Marlon Morgan.
Yeah.
The time was I call up my name. And them said to him, so tell me which number he never says wrong. He said, no, numbers are not wrong, but he's a PNP acting.
No, what he's saying is that we are against Jamaica because we taught these things. We are put the country in a bad light. It's the same thing they are saying about Jesse James Clarke. E. coli is in the water, other contaminants is in the water, and Jesse James Clarke come out and mention it. And they are saying that we're going against Jamaica. Well, we must close our eyes and watch it crash.
Yeah, man, garbage. As long as it's their same friends in the business community, the institutions and the people who manage pension money and all of those. Right now, they have no confidence, and that is why they are giving the Bank of Jamaica all their money to lock up in the vault and earn 6.5% per annum, because they know as long as we continue on the current trajectory, given what is happening internationally, the economy is going to continue to shrink, continue to go down, unless there's a change in policy. And right now, they haven't heard anything sensible from Fayval Williams, and they haven't heard anything sensible from Albany, and they haven't heard anything sensible from the Prime Minister, apart from cussing everybody who are trying to analyze the economy in a sensible way.
Government has allocated $4 billion for a population census. To date, that census has not been completed. How then can the government plan effectively for this nation?
Yeah, well, it's difficult to plan, and that is one thing. And the census is done every 10 years. So it's now 20 years now since we haven't done a census, and that is one thing I mentioned when people were talking. I said, how is the Niger Clarke great and couldn't complete a census? This is the first time in the history of Jamaica we have been able to complete a population census. Right now, Statin doesn't have an head because Ms. Clarke retired, and I know they haven't named anybody to run Statin. So it tells you the low level of expectation they have of the agency. Yeah.
Is it a lack of...
That's a big blunder.
Is there a lack of talent in the government, Ralston? Because a country has many moving parts, and you can't just focus on one or two things. Everything has to be monitored. Do you believe that this government is monitoring all the things that needs to be monitored in Jamaica for the country?
The Prime Minister has too much responsibility, and he doesn't have the capacity to carry out those responsibilities. And as I said before, Fayval Williams is the worst finance minister. They are the top faces of the government. Kamina Johnson doesn't understand international trade. Yes, so you see the problem we have, the top four, they don't understand what is happening globally.
But can y'all imagine, ABR family, that the president or the chairperson of Statin, who's in charge of our census, amongst other stuff, has retired and we still have not heard of a successor? And so with them paying $4 billion to complete our census since 2022, we're in 2025, heading to a general election, and we cannot get a definite count of our population. Doesn't that speak of the mismanagement? Doesn't that speak of them being unable to manage our country, to manage our economy? And with them going around and talking about who is lying and who is spreading propaganda from who is bad mind, when they should be able to respond to, the challenges and respond to what the people are feeling on the ground. It speaks volume. And we're definitely awaiting the country to get that change with no other than Mark Jefferson Golding as the captain to steer us in the direction of that change. And so we would like for the opposition to even speak on the matter of our census. I've heard Julian Robinson touch on it at one point, and I would love for them to come and touch on it again, because it's very worrisome that we have not, in 2 decades, had a complete census. A census is supposed to be done every 10 years. And we heard them boasting about Nigel Clarke, who jumped ship, who raised their pay to how much 100% increase, and still they have left Jamaica in turmoil. What says y'all, ABR family, after hearing all of this? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel on the road to 30K and beyond. Help me to get there. Get this video to at least 7,000 likes. Spread that one near and far. Stay tuned for more videos. Stay tuned for more updates. Big up on yourself.